Welcome you back again to another video lecture on Python programming, and in this video lecture we go ahead and create a simple project that will help us to find the quadratic equations that have solutions in specified range of coefficients. So it's an interesting project. You're going to move ahead and start this project immediately. So it's something that is, we're going to start by creating integer variable of x1, and let x1 be, let's go ahead and tell the user to impute, say, insert the value of x1. So insert the value of x1, and we can go ahead and copy that. Let's go ahead and copy this because we have so many of these to do. Now go ahead and paste that, and this is for x2. This is x2, and insert the value of x2. And the next one is y1. Go ahead and change this to be y1, and insert the value of y1. The next one is y2. Insert the value of y2. The next one is z1, and insert the value of z1. The next one is z2. Insert the value of z2. Alright, so where you've gotten these values from the user, the next thing is to give the range of these values. Let's go ahead and say that x, we have x1 and x2, y1, y2, z1, z2. Now go ahead and say x is equal to the range of x1 and x2 plus 1, and y is equal to range of y1, y2 plus 1, and z is equal to the range of z1, z2 plus 1. Alright, so now we've gotten this, we have to create a nested for loop system that will help us to be able to get the coefficients of all these. Alright, now let's go ahead and see for I in x. For I in x, then if I is equivalent to 0, go ahead and continue. Alright, so then for j in y, for j in y, and for k in z, then go ahead and print out the value of I, comma j, comma k, and end that. Go ahead and put a comma. Put a comma, and let's say we have a, let's say a is equal to j multiply j minus 4 multiply I multiply k. Alright, so we go ahead and say that if a is greater than or equal to 0, if a is greater than or equal to 0, then we go ahead and say that x1 is equal to negative j minus we need the square root of this, but that we have to first of all go back and import the square root, which we failed to do. Go ahead and import the mass module, so I can be able to get the square root. So import mass module and then come back here and say that x1 is equal to minus j minus math dot square root, and pass in the value of a right in there. So go ahead and divide that equation by 2 multiply I, and x2 is just exactly the same but different. Let's say minus j plus mass dot square root, and pass in the value of a right in there, and go ahead and divide that by 2 multiply I. Now let's go ahead and print out this. Let's go ahead and print out, we're going to say coefficient valid. Let's go ahead and say valid. If that is valid, then round that to whole number of x1 and to 2, and then put a comma and round that to x2 comma 2. Else you go ahead and print out invalid. That does not exist. Okay, so go back and close that right there. Alright, so this, let's go ahead and run this project and check out this. Drag this up, insert the value of x1. Let's say x1 is -1, and insert the value of x2. Let's say x2 is 1, and y1 is -2, and y2 is let's say 3, and insert the value of z1, let's say 0, and z2 is let's say 5, and hit enter. So you can see -1, -2, that is valid. So this just print out the quadratic equations that have the solutions here in the specified coefficient. So I believe that this is good for mathematicians that really need it. But if you don't need it, you might not understand what this does. But at least it will help you to go ahead and print out that if someone needs that in future. And if you have been making use of this, go ahead and solve this and check out if you really have the same thing with your project you've ever done in mathematics, and it gives you exactly the same. Now go ahead and put this down in your system. I'll go ahead and close this because it's really too big, and most of us might not be pleased to have such a thing that is really so much. So the code is just ready before you. Go ahead and put this down on your own system and play around with it. And in case you have any question, please go ahead and use the question and the answer section, and I'm going to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much, and I'm going to see you in the next video lecture.